Want to go live now to Capitol Hill, where the Oversight chairman, James Comer, has just popped out of the recorded, transcribed interview with Ian Sams, a former aide of former President Biden. Let's listen in.
Did Joe Biden tell you this? Did Joe Biden send you an email himself? Well, no. Well, no. So it raises serious concerns and serious questions about who was calling the shots in the White House. If the White House spokesperson is being shielded from the President of the United States, who was operating the Oval Office? I mean, this is what this whole investigation is about. That auto pen was used excessively, and yet no one can say for certain that Joe Biden was given the was given the orders to use the auto pen. And if you're using the auto pen to sign one document and Joe Biden's in the White House, 75% of the time when the document's used, why not have Joe Biden sign the document right there? Why have to go through all the bureaucracy of using the auto pen? I mean, this was a huge interview today, and I think it contradicts everything that the former Biden people are saying with respect to the president's mental fitness. There were very few people that were around Joe Biden, especially at the end. And that's when the majority of the pardons and executive orders were signed with that auto pen. I mean, I can't say this enough. I want to say this one more time so everyone understands. Ian Sams, who was the White House spokesperson for a significant amount of Joe Biden's time as president, interacted with him two times. So, you know, we're going to continue to bring people in. And again, this person, Ian Sams, is the one that would counter everything Robert Hur, or anytime anyone would suggest that Joe Biden wasn't mentally fit, he would say, no, he's at the top of his game. Every time he tweeted out, and several times he gave interviews on MSNBC. Every time I've interacted with the president, he was sharp. He asked great questions. In there, under oath, he interacted with the president two times, the entire time. The entire time he worked in the White House. That's astonishing. Any questions?
Did he tell you what those two times were? Like, do you know what those two interactions
no,
were?
he really didn't have a good memory of the two times he interacted with the president, which would make me think that he didn't interact with him very long. Let this sink in. Not only did Robert Hur interact longer with Joe Biden than Joe Biden's own spokesperson, I interacted more with Joe Biden than Joe Biden's spokesperson. I flew on Air Force One with Joe Biden to Kentucky when we had a tornado. I talked to him on Air Force One. Ian Sams never flew on Air Force One. Do you recall a president's spokesperson not traveling with the president when he traveled? He never went on Air Force One. I've been on Air Force One with Joe Biden.
Did he say, though, in his two interactions with him that the president was mentally sharp?
Oh, of course he did. Yeah, well, he had to. He said that in front of you all 100 times.
But in there, when he announced you'd only been with him twice, during those two times, did he describe the president as mentally sharp?
Well, he had to, absolutely, because he said that, you know, for hours and hours and hours of press conferences and TV interviews on MSNBC and CNN.
Did you get any indication about what kind of legal advice the White House counsel, I mean, he was a spokesperson, like what the White House counsel was giving Biden as far as legal advice for using?
Well, he said that most of his talking points came from White House counsel. So, again, this is the president's spokesperson who has no communication with the president. It leads to further concern that Joe Biden was not the one calling the shots. And that's what this entire investigation is about. We went through lines in the Hur report where Hur specifically stated that the president's memory was poor, his ability was limited, and you know. And then I went back and asked questions about the Biden investigation, the influence peddling investigation, because if you'll recall, he attacked me every day, saying that there was no evidence and all this. I said, do you stand by that? And he never would answer the question. I said, were you surprised that Joe Biden pardoned his entire family? And he said he was surprised. I said, is that an admission of guilt? I mean, he pardoned the spouses. The only place in the world the spouses were ever mentioned was in our final report. And he pardoned the entire family. It is his last act as president. And I think that everyone in America knows that was an admission of guilt. So, again, I think this is explosive. When you all read the transcript, I think you will agree. This was the White House spokesperson. It just pours fuel on the fire that Joe Biden was.
So you're listening live there to Oversight Committee Chairman in the House, James Comer, who stepped out for a brief moment to update reporters on this transcribed interview with Ian Sams, the former aide to former President Biden, and an interesting development that just came out there that apparently Ian Sams is telling the committee that he didn't have a lot of interaction with the former president, which is very interesting because he would often come out and tell reporters how well the president was performing. So we'll continue to watch that and see how long it goes and what more comes out of that interview with Ian Sams.
Hey everyone, I'm Emily Campagno. Catch me and my co-hosts Harris Faulkner and Kaylee McEnany on Outnumbered every weekday at 12 p.m. Eastern, or set your DVR. Also, don't forget to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page for daily highlights.